Everyone wants to be the strongest, but almost no one understands what that really means. Before we dive into the raw truth about what it takes to become truly unbreakable, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're serious about personal growth, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a drop of this kind of content. This video isn't about hype, it's about reality, the pain, the discipline, the silence, and the grit it takes to forge a life of purpose and power. If you're tired of excuses and ready to unlock the strongest version of yourself, then stay with me, because this is where transformation begins. Everyone wants to be unbreakable, but very few truly grasp what that really entails. You think it's about dominance, prestige, or wearing some badge of honor that screams superiority. You're mistaken. The most formidable person in any room isn't the one raising their voice or flaunting achievements. It's the one who's been through a war no one witnessed, who fought demons in silence, swallowed pain like poison, and still stands calm and collected, not because they haven't been tested, but because they have, relentlessly. Power doesn't shine, it endures, and the strongest person you'll ever meet will be the one who looks ordinary but has survived the extraordinary. Strength isn't loud, it doesn't announce itself. It's not about being feared or admired, it's about presence. It's about walking into chaos with a quiet mind, knowing that no storm outside will ever match the one you've already survived within. People confuse power with noise, with performance, with optics. But those who've really built strength, brick by brick, scar by scar, don't need to broadcast it. They carry it in their posture, their patience, their decisions. You can feel it in the way they don't flinch. They've already died and come back, mentally, emotionally, and they've stopped expecting the world to validate that. The truth? Becoming strong has less to do with how much you can lift and more to do with how much you can carry without collapsing. The betrayal, the self-doubt, the quiet nights where it feels like no one sees you grinding, healing, holding it together. That's where strength begins. Not in the gym, not on a podium, but in the mirror. In the raw honesty it takes to say, I'm not okay, but I'm still moving. Strength is forged in solitude and refined in struggle. Muhammad Ali once said, I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. And that's the truth most people can't handle. Everyone wants the crown, but no one wants to bleed for it. Everyone wants to win, but few are willing to lose first. Lose comfort, lose certainty, lose ego. Real strength is quiet, consistent suffering turned into discipline. And that's why you'll rarely see it coming until it's already done. Here's what they won't put in the highlight reels. The higher you climb, the quieter it gets. Strength, real strength, comes with isolation. People will admire you from a distance, maybe even fear your presence, but they won't really see you. They won't understand the cost of composure, the burden of always being the one who's got it together. Because when you're the strongest, you're not allowed to break. You become the foundation everyone leans on, while no one asks if you're tired. But here's the truth. Strength isn't about having an army behind you. It's about the resolve to stand when the applause fades, when the room clears, and it's just you and your mission. People think your limits are real because you told them they were. You've been feeding yourself the same tired script since you were a kid. I'm not built for this. I started too late. I'm not talented enough. Lies. All of it. You're not up against your circumstances. You're up against your conditioning. You've trained yourself to fold when it gets uncomfortable. You don't lack time. You lack tenacity. You don't need a better plan. You need a refusal to quit. Your ceiling isn't made of concrete. It's made of excuses you repeat until they sound like truth. Another motivational video isn't going to fix you. Another quote on your feed isn't going to move the needle. You need to stop rehearsing your pain and start rewriting your story. It's time to confront every excuse you've built a home in and burn it down. You're not here to be polished. You're here to be dangerous, to your fears, your doubts, your patterns. Greatness doesn't wait for validation. It rises without permission. It's forged in silence, without the likes, without the followers. What you need is not more inspiration. You need a decision, a final one, that says, I won't stay soft just because it's easier. The strongest people on this planet aren't chasing power. They're anchored in purpose. That's the real secret, not some fantasy tier level or mythical status. It's clarity, absolute unshakable clarity. They know who they are. They know what they're fighting for. and they don't flinch when the storm comes, because they've already decided what they're willing to lose and what they're willing to defend. Most people chase strength as if it's a shiny reward, but real power isn't a medal. It's a responsibility. It's a weight you carry, not because it's glamorous, but because no one else will. To be the strongest means to become the last line of defense. When the world falls silent and everyone else folds, you're the one expected to rise, not because you're invincible, but because you've made peace with sacrifice. That's what it takes. To stand when your legs are failing. To act when your heart's breaking. Strength demands everything. So don't just sit there scrolling through other people's highlights, hoping discipline will magically strike. Get uncomfortable. Get intentional. Step into the fire and find out who you really are. The world owes you nothing, and it never will. If you want power, then go earn it in pain. Somewhere inside you, buried under hesitation and heartbreak, lives the person you were meant to become. Not a fantasy version of you, the version. Sharpened by setbacks, hardened by rejection, molded by failure. But to meet them, you'll have to dig deeper than you ever have. You'll have to crawl through the wreckage of every excuse you've ever made. You'll have to confront the truth that no one is coming to save you. And when you finally uncover that version of you, the one built, not born, don't look to anyone else for applause. Thank the struggle. Thank the agony. That pain wasn't the punishment. It was the path. People confuse strength with dominance, but real strength has nothing to prove. The truly strong don't fight for ego. They fight because they've accepted the weight of responsibility. They don't run from burdens. They carry them in silence. They don't seek recognition. They prepare for the next war while everyone else is still celebrating the last victory. The strongest don't fight for themselves anymore. They fight because no one else will. That's what separates them. Their drive doesn't come from a desire to win. It comes from the obligation to show up over and over, no matter the cost. There will come moments, dark, hollow ones, where your own mind turns against you. It will whisper lies with a familiar voice. You're not enough. It's over. You've got nothing left. But that's when real strength reveals itself, not in the absence of those voices, but in how you respond. You don't reason with doubt. You don't wait to feel better. You move. You act. You answer fear with effort. When your lungs burn, when your hands tremble, when your soul aches, that's when it counts. Not when it's easy, but when it feels impossible. That's where strength lives, in the refusal to surrender. One step, one more rep, one more breath through the chaos. That's how greatness is born, not in the spotlight, but in the unseen repetitions, the quiet moments where your only audience is pain itself. Some of you are walking through life with wounds no one else can see. You've convinced yourself that because you're hurting, you must be broken. But let me be clear, the ones who hurt and still move forward, those are the ones built for something greater. Pain isn't a weakness. It's proof that you're still in the fight. It's a reminder that your heart is still beating, still pushing, still choosing not to quit. True strength isn't forged in applause. It's shaped in silence. It's when you show up without a guarantee of success, when you put in the work and no one claps, when you fall and get back up without needing someone to pull you. That's where the elite are separated from the average. Because when there's no prize, when there's no recognition, when it's just you versus your limits, that's when your real character is exposed. Strength is staying in the ring long after your reasons have faded, and the only thing left is a promise you made to yourself. I've seen death up close, more than once. Looked it straight in the eyes and didn't flinch. And you know what I learned? Death isn't what haunts the strongest. It's not what keeps them awake at night. What does? Wasted potential. The idea that you could die with your gift still inside you. That you could walk through this world and never set fire to the thing you were meant to ignite. That kind of regret. It's heavier than any weight you'll ever lift. And it doesn't fade. It stays with you. It eats at you. Until you either break or you rise. If you want to leave something behind that matters, then you have to be willing to burn for it. You have to be willing to suffer for the vision only you can see. Because this life is too short to play it safe. Too short to die with what if still on your tongue. Your mission isn't just to survive, it's to evolve. To become who you were born to be. Not by wishing, but by bleeding for it. When your final breath comes, make sure it doesn't carry the weight of everything you never became. So answer me this. Why are you still playing small? There's something inside of you. Something wild, something brilliant, something that refuses to be caged. It's not polite, it's not convenient, it doesn't ask for permission, but you've been muzzling it your whole life, afraid of how the world might react if you finally let it breathe. But it's time. Time to stop tiptoeing around your potential. Time to rip the brakes off your ambition. Tear through the doubt. Annihilate the comfort zone you've been calling home. And when they ask what changed, you'll show them that the storm they feared was always real. You just finally decided to let it out. If you want to wear the crown of the strongest, then stop acting like a spectator in your own life. Strength isn't announced. It's demonstrated in empty rooms, during quiet mornings, in the relentless hours no one sees. You don't need more hype. You need more hunger, more stillness in chaos, more reps when your body says no. Because discipline isn't about how motivated you feel. It's about who you are. It's about showing up like a warrior because you know that's who you were always meant to be. You're not chasing strength. You are strength, in motion, in process, in execution. And every single day, you make the decision to live like it. You were never fragile, never broken. You were simply dormant, lulled into quietness by doubt, fear, and distraction. But now it's time to awaken, to shake the world with the force you've been hiding. People talk about strength like it's reserved for the chosen few. But the truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were built to break molds, to defy odds, to shatter ceilings that others tiptoe beneath. You don't need permission to rise. You need fire. And you've had it all along. Some people are meant to follow. Others are trained to lead. But you're something else entirely. You weren't born just to rise. You were born to disrupt, to destroy limitations, to become the walking proof that impossible is a myth. You're not here to repeat history. You're here to rewrite it. And the moment you stop holding back, the world will have no choice but to witness what real, undeniable, unshakable strength looks like.